we're having many beers after work every day.
How do you actually pronounce your surname? So I will not fuck up on this point.
For a disclaimer, I will underline that this podcast was not edited before and we are not in an agreement.
Vulgiano.
Oh yeah, good. Saying I'll be a George. They are sending my signal to their server. You send your signal to their server, and then they aggregate. Yeah, but then George and how? George Vâlceanu. Still a problem.
Greetings, beautiful people. This could be potentially the first episode of my new podcast, CEO.exe. So let's run it. I have an amazing first friend today, first guest, and my great friend, which is actually funny because we met online because of the virtual reality technology, and we met first time on LinkedIn, and now we are like meeting from time to time, brainstorming and having a lot of common. So let me try to pronounce it correctly. Răzvan Vâlceanu.
Wow.
Good,
Super.
good.
Yeah,
It's
very
so
good.
great to have you, Răzvan. You're in my head. You're like one person orchestra, like a one person band, but with like so many skills, so many years of great experience through all the different industries. And now teaching people AI, teaching people other stuff. Tell us a little bit about that, because I found your story like super inspiring, super amazing, and I think that more people need to know you.
Thank you for having me here, Dorota. I'm very grateful. I hope you'll have a very fruitful podcast and your objectives will be met and finally doing it because, as you said, we had so many discussions when considering to have this as a podcast that now I cannot even count. So I'm happy that it's cooked. Good luck with
Finally
that.
here.
Yeah. And reviewing also my background now, my seem that I've been called so many names and so many jobs that I am actually understanding all of them, which is not quite the same with being there. As a common trait, I would say that when I started my career as a marketing graduate, I was already having the job of my dreams in advertising and then advancing and looking at ways of why not that worked and getting you in IT, arriving on Bitdefender, culminating from most of my people perspective as a GM for their local office, and then leaving to fashion. So if I'll stop to even these three, which are quite a lot of time ago, I would say, okay, university, the dream career in advertising, then IT, dream job in IT, and then fashion, dream job of anybody. Yeah, having the fashion, the models, and all the luxury premium cotton fabrics from Italy, doing whatever you want to do. And then was I think another need, because I was reviewing this morning my journey as well, and I will say that every age and every period of our lives has a different need from us and asks us to do something more and something different in terms of your personal fulfillment. Like sometimes you want to give back, and then I was involved into a NGO. Sometimes you want to be inspired, so I was in a university. And comes a time when you get to the conclusion, okay, let's try to make this all wrapped up and to look what I learned throughout this journey and what I saw working and what I actually did. And what I was doing was mainly management, communication, and training. These three things were like everywhere in an organization that is more than 1,000 persons or one person. Because if you have the leadership, you cannot do it if you don't communicate with the market right and you don't do the management properly. And the people who are doing this properly are the ones who are trained. I see very large organizations that are suffering, and not being trained means that you don't even know what you don't know. And then you have
100%.
somebody like me that is doing 3% of his capacity, trying to explain you, guys, you need to do some training on this particular activity. You need to train the team. They are not bad people, calling them names. You know that
Yeah,
the higher the ladder is up to the board, the language is more trivial. Yeah. Oh, I don't
always.
like those guys are hopeless and so on and so forth. No, man, you have to pay. You have to invest. You have to train the people. You have to learn how to communicate.
Yeah, I think that most of the C-levels managers, they just forgot what's going on, bottom down. And I think that the group that is suffering the most are the middle managers. They're like screwed
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they have like expectations above and they have expectations from the down from their people. And like, they don't have any decisions capabilities or to take any decisions for the guys on the grid, but on the other hand, they are expected to deliver from the guy above. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah,
please continue.
they are the ones who actually work, yeah.
And trying to manage somehow within the
Exactly. Keep
chaos.
your yeah.
And also, I believe this is also my experience after 8 years as a business trainer, is that this group might be the most important one for the organizations. And on the other hand, they are the ones that are trained the least. It's like expected from them that they will just have it, that they will
Mhm.
just manage it, that they will like just handle the situation with the stress, with the over hours, and so on, so on. Most of the time, traveling between the branches, working with people, really, really tough position. However, when I was a middle manager, I loved it. It is like action every day.
For a disclaimer, I will underline that this podcast was not edited before, and we are not in an agreement to how to speak, when to speak. But to conclude with a very short example that will summarize exactly that, while I was 23, 24 years old, I was named sales director for an advertising agency without having a sales background. I was marketing trained by university, let's say. And then thrown into this job with a very nice business card, with a car and with all the services possible in a advertising company, having impressed all my colleagues at the uni, of course, like I'm sales director for these guys, what can you do wrong? And not being trained at all and struggling, like actually suffering.
Mm.
And I had to learn how to do sales myself, and the input was coming after each achievement. Like I had no deadline met, then I got a book, then I got a meeting, then I got a customer, and then my boss comes to me and he says, "This is what a salesperson does: gets a book, gets a phone call, gets a meeting, has the sales done." And I, okay, dude, but this is like, couldn't you told me before?
Yeah, that would be useful.
Do some training. So that guy was a particular friend of mine and a mentor at the time. We were having many, many beers after work every day. We were having a beer keg in the office. So that's why that was close to the dream job of anybody could ever dreaming about, especially in the 2030s when you are in the universities, because I was like prolonging the period of studency. So yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that coming back to my journey, going to put this all together wherever I've been at any level, I was looking at issues related to management, training, and communication,
Mm.
which is like what I actually do in the Unlearning School today.
I love this name. I love this name. This is like, it's like the one word that actually says everything about learning new stuff, because you cannot start learning something new without unlearning something else. And I think it's not even about the skills, but about our perception of some stuff, about our way of thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did you find this name? Because
I
it's
call.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it will be too mystic if I start. Because
Okay.
because I already had it launched, like it was 2023, and I was already planning to come back from the university to Bucharest, and
Mm,
I was saying, okay, what I'm gonna do in Bucharest, because I've cut the connections for like 6 years since I was traveling in many various other countries. And I said, okay, let's do a training company, because now I'm at a university. I look at the perspectives of AI coming in education, and those guys don't give a sign that they want to do it. And even if they want to do it, it will take them 15 years. I'll do it
sure.
probably in 1 year. So I had the name, was a website, everything rolled up. And one morning I woke up with the Unlearning School, but in Romanian in my mind. I started to search online if there's any algorithm that will teach you automatically, because you see my background was already fixed into these steps. You need to learn something by going to the roots of the definition, then read everything that is published in the academia, and then conclude with what the corporations are doing, and then that's the state of the art of any issue that you try to understand, to comprehend.
So we
Yeah.
can use this equation if with any
For
topic, any
anything,
subject.
yeah. This is my basic go to the Bible. Any domain has a Bible, like first person who wrote a book about it. Then it
Yeah.
has academia, which you're studying with like real people in academia. The research is done on various budgets, but with different results. Of course, depends who does that research. However,
Mm,
it's very good different perspectives on the same topic, and then you get it to what's actually usable in the market, what industry takes from academia, and how they see the people responding to it. So I was
great.
looking to unlearning, yeah, and let's do some research, find some books. There's a nice literature, then there's some results, there's some podcasts, and no algorithm of unlearning. And I said, okay, I'll do the unlearning algorithm. So that's kind of still my go to actually happen. Like I have, let's say, a customer who comes to me and he says, I want to unlearn that, do it for me. So I'll have to bring him through this procedure, which is an algorithm which has to do it automatically in order to be working. That's
Mm,
not happened yet, because, as you said perception. I call the biggest barrier awareness. You cannot
mm.
unlearn what you are not even aware that is pushing you back. So yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. This is what I wanted to ask you. When students are coming to you, are they actually aware that they will need to unlearn something? That's my first question. And the second question, do you see like a pattern that most of the students maybe they need to unlearn the same thing at the very first beginning?
I've added a little disclaimer between brackets next to the Unlearning School. I'm adding now 4 companies, because I work only with mainly leadership departments, managers, and their teams. But it was this confusion with the name and expectations that I'll do some high school job, which is not that is something wrong, but which we don't do. And the people, when they come at organization level, yes, they are aware that something is not wrong, but they don't know exactly what's not wrong. That's why
Mm-hmm.
we have to start measuring and looking at the problems and seeing. In our scenario is quite easy. We are looking to the future of work and to the skills that are needed for the future of work to be met, and then we are looking to the actual status quo and to the resistance to change, because this is what is preventing people to evolve, basically. Keeping
Mm-hmm.
your maintaining your comfort zone is the biggest enemy of any progress and innovation, which is not.
100%.
It's not
So
bad to, yeah, it's not bad to be in the comfort zone. I cannot blame anybody that wants to be in the comfort zone. I will want to be there sometimes, but I know that that's the actual enemy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But and I also like that you're saying, okay, it's fine, you can stay in your comfort zone. But I think that people sometimes they do not understand that if you are rather staying in your comfort zone, that's your choice of not
Yeah,
growing up.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So just one more question about this topic, because obviously this is one of the topics that we discuss a lot. We are, absolutely on the same page here. Um, so how to push people to get out of the comfort zone? Can you push them from the outside actually?
Yes, of course. For everybody comes a deadline when they are getting unhappy and they are getting some signals. Unfortunately, it works better when the uh, education comes from the bad teachers, like going bankrupt, getting broken, getting ill. These are the best teachers that are actually pushing them to do something and to act and to realize, okay, that's not working, that's not gonna be. And then there are some other which are already in the position and the mentality of uh, perpetual learners, how they are called in this train, lifelong learners. Those guys
Mm.
are aware that everything that used to be valid is not working today any longer, and you have to do some extra and then to enrich again your comfort zone to leave behind what's not working. Like, for instance, when asking about my many career changes, those were an exception for my generation, but were something science fiction for our grandparents. We discussed this, I think, last year when we were discussing. Probably our grandparents were having one or maximum two careers per year, per life, sorry.
For sure. Yes,
So our
absolutely.
parents, maybe two, three, four careers, especially in our countries, because we come from Eastern Europe. When they stopped after 89, 90s, they stopped being employed by the state companies, which were one
Hmm.
job per life. That was it. You're having a good job, that's life.
Yeah.
But in our situation, meeting democracy, which sounds very communist in itself, but meeting democracy was meaning that we won't have any certainties in life, and we will have to adjust and to adapt and to grow and to change sometimes the entire field of working, which most of the times is not the background where you studied, like where your formal education is. So people having the expectation today to have formal studies and to have an actual career are lower and lower in percentages, and they will be like I don't know, one career per year possibly in the future.
Yes. Yes, come on. With this current like state of development of technology, AI, and everything connected with AI, it's like it's just like impossible. I have plenty of discussions with young people that are right now struggling what type of college they should choose, where to go, what they should learn actually that will be still useful in the future, or sometimes asking themselves the question, should they study at all, because the educational system is not following what's going on the tech side. So it creates this like the feeling of uncertainty for some people. But on the other hand, I feel that there is also a group of people that would like just to pretend that it's not happening, yeah, and that it's not concerns them, and they will be just fine. Those are like two different groups that I feel that they are sometimes fighting and treating themselves in the sense that, oh, you will name my words, yeah, it's gonna happen, this and that. But anyway, when we just brushed the topic of AI. I would like to follow it because I know that you're doing a lot of great stuff, not only for you, but for other people. So I would be more than happy to hear from you as a practitioner, as a person that, checked all the LLMs, checked all the possible ways how to create yourself a system at home. So could you please explain us as to the totally non-tech people, how the AI agents actually work. Imagine that we are 12 years old, yeah? Just name it.
I could have prepared my video that I'm using in the trainings when I start explaining exactly this. So imagine a technology that was reading when it was launched entire internet and books ever written by humans, which equivalates with 60,000 years of one person for reading it. So that's a lot, yeah, everything, all the internet, all the books. After reading all that information, basically all human information available, was starting to implement some concepts in from machine learning, which are not new. They were actually developed in the 40s. If you imagine, no computers were then, but they were already in viewing like what's going to happen in terms of technology. So get all the information and break it down into tokens. Like if you wanna say on beginning of the sentence, the sky is blue, all that algorithms are mixing into the tokens and they are looking and calculating probabilities of the next sentence and the next token and the next word, and then it does that millions of times per second. It's like you cannot see it what's behind a question and an answer in a regular chatbot, but that's actually behind lots of probabilities. So first lesson is that AI does not understand human language. It doesn't understand the English language as we understand it. It doesn't understand the meanings of words. It understands the percentage of probabilities that that letter will be followed by another letter and then grouped in a small token and then group in a probability and then deliver the answer that you'll find like, whoa, that's such a good answer. So it's all statistics, probability, machine learning. That's actually the first layer of artificial intelligence, how we know it today in the chatbots and the large language models. Because that's why the large comes from all that internet and books reading. Very large, yeah.
A very large. That was amazing description. Thanks, Razvan. I think it will be very helpful because there is so much like talking about AI, about agents, but I'm, sometimes feeling that it's like a, you know, surface talk, but the real adoption is not that deep as it might seem if you look at the newspapers. I will give you an example. I was traveling quite often to San Francisco this year, and when you're in the Bay Area, it's like they ask for your name, and then the second question is about AI or agents or what are you working on? What is it connected with AI? I mean, the assumption is already that it's connected with AI. And it seems that like everybody over there is doing something with AI, with agents. Everybody is having a supercomputer at home and agents are just running. So I wanted to ask you, do you think it's true? Are we living in like a info bubble, us from the tech world, and then there is like a second world which is actually still trying to learn and figure out how to adapt AI for themselves.
Yeah, that's one of your concerns. Even when we met in Bucharest, you're having the same feeling. You're just preparing to go there. I don't know, second time,
Uh-huh.
third time, and you're expecting again. Oh, those guys are so much ahead, and then you're coming from China, and those guys are so much ahead. And then we are in Europe, like in a very small village, nobody cares. So yeah, you mentioned very well the hype is coming from the tech segment, not any
Mm-hmm.
tech, the programmers.
Mm-hmm.
And the companies that are doing, of course, are overhyping because they saw the benefits. They are the first ones to see it, and now what they are trying to do, they are trying to translate the benefits to like all the rest of the industries. The first industry who saw the benefits, it's definitely the tech sector. But then we come to the same problem that they have, even Mark Zuckerberg or saying, or Satya from Microsoft, and I, without quoting them, say the same thing. Yeah, we still have to explain this to people. We still
Mm.
have to find the right language for product market fit. So it's even a curve. Forrester was measuring this with all the technologies, not only with the AI. When a new technology comes, it's a curve that is going very high up with the expectations and the hype that everything will be done automatically and my job will be so easier. And then the curve is falling and then the disappointment appears.
Mm.
People realize, okay, this AI won't do my job. And only then it starts to go like not that steep, but like this on the productivity wage. If we
Mm.
break down AI in terms of chatbots and LLMs are already past that group. They are already in the productivity stage. They are very present in all the call centers and they are doing super performance there, very cheap,
Mm-hmm.
very faster and better than any human. But the agents are just, let's say, starting to rise. This year they are starting to rise as well, the agents. I won't say this is hype. This is very real technology. This is very real progress. This is very real and here to stay actually
Mm-hmm.
technology because it's basically computer automation for anybody, but now people coming back to all of the discussion with the unlearning and with the comfort zone and with the people who don't know how to use computers. Of course
Yes.
you believe that if you can power a computer, open Word, attach it to an email and send it and then do some Google browsing or whatever chatbot LLM, you imagine that this is for you, your knowledge of how to use a computer. And you imagine
Mm.
that this is what a computer is capable of.
Mm.
But the actual thing of putting a computer, how to work through an AI agent, because I don't know either to do more than what I just explained on a computers. Like if something is crashing, I know how to do a restart because I'm from IT. Yeah, you know that people are still phoning me today when they get a virus. Hey, I have a problem. You are the only one who can help. That's like, I don't know, 14 years ago after I left.
This is called a strong personal brand,
Yeah,
Razvan,
exactly.
okay?
Is the perception that the branding and long years of communicating on this topic.
I know.
So, yeah, to conclude with the hype, it is a hype in terms of vendors who want to get more customers. But it's not a hype in terms of what the actually technology will be capable to do when will be actually explained and used to their limitation, because the hype and the disappointment, what do they come? Because of my fake expectations, because of my lack of education and training into that domain, and because maybe I'm stupid too as well sometimes. If I believe anything on internet without checking it with my own head, I'm
For
not
sure.
very.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But those headlines, they create that FOMO also around people, like saying that you're so behind if you're not using agents, that you're so behind if you're not using AI. And I receive that kind of phone calls in the sense that, Dorota, I feel that I am behind because I'm not using a lot of AI. I do ChatGPT with this and that, and how to move a little bit forward. Yeah. Some of the people, they are not even aware that we are using AI, using any program, because it's the AI component is already there. But my point is that does everybody needs to use AI these days?
Not really.
So where's the pressure is, I think, unnecessary. And the first discussion that I'm like opening the whole idea of talking with people about AI and how they can implement more AI solutions in their life, because we are not talking yet about the enterprises, right? Is it starts with the question, where do you need assistance, where do you need struggle, where do you see a potential automating, like repeatable tasks that you could automate. And this is where actually you can start the discussion. I don't see any other way.
Um, Not everybody needs to use AI
Mm-hmm.
today until they don't want to do more. Let's say you are a plumber. You are a
Mm-hmm.
plumber and you get orders and you go fulfill the orders, repair the leakages. A plumber who wants to scale and to get some junior help and to have a business and to have a contract and to have a website and all that needs to talk in the past with different suppliers. Now, all of
Mm-hmm.
this could be done by AI. So any smart plumber or doctor or carpenter, so
Mm-hmm.
people who are not from AI and they are not from tech and they are not from computers area will benefit like today of starting to use AI to improve their businesses and their jobs and their lives. You know that even for health purposes, it's already there, like fitness, nutrition plans in a chat, very reliable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that it will be a difference in what you can do with AI and with no AI. And from my customers' departments, in their words, they are already seeing after very small few trainings that in the future it will be very visible who's using AI and who doesn't use AI. And those one who don't use AI will be the ones who do a very bad job, like very
Mm.
stupid presentations, ugly presentations, all that kind of issues.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm super happy that you use the physical position as an example, because this is where we see an AI potential at the end. But actually, you can use it to leverage your tasks and to leverage your work on a daily basis. You showed me a little super cute pin before we started this recording. I think it's like could you
I
please
was
show us?
I was playing with it and yeah,
And now we lost it. Ah,
yeah,
yes,
I
it
was
is.
playing. It's an octopus.
Yeah. And what this octopus is actually doing?
It's actually the toy for my agentic brand since it's very wise and you know it's doing lots of stuff. We are calling them their species the most alien, one of the most alien species. We don't understand anything, whatever it's in the depth of the oceans.
Mm-hmm.
So changing colors and doing all that wonderful stuff and however they communicate and having the capacity of 8 arms of twans is my closest definition to what an AI agent could do in my computer, which again, I'm not a programmer and I don't even need to be a programmer today to work on a computer with agents. 8 in a row, you do my website live. Now go and change that. You are logged into this portal, go and upload my CRM. You are uploaded from here and go and do this document and send it over email and so on and so forth. So all of these tasks are done very smart with no mistakes when the input is very well defined and the output is very clearly understood. Like
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the permissions, what you do, what you don't do, like you
Mm-hmm.
don't do in consumer chatbots sensitive data. You don't put
Mm-hmm.
your information there because it will get on internet. These companies, after all, are very small startups. Even if it's 1 trillion, their estimation, they are very small in terms of the thousands, the tens of years that Google and Microsoft have. So anytime when you see a scandal on the internet about AI, it's OpenAI, it's Anthropic, it's all of these startups. It's not Microsoft or Google or Amazon. So that's the difference of the technology being so new and
Mm-hmm.
promoted by startups, which are, if they weren't doing it, we weren't having access still today
Mm-hmm.
to this technology. But it's going to be massively disrupting basically everything. By the insiders, it will be plumbers who will have AI agents getting the best plumbers, and then another plumber, how he did that?
Right.
Maybe I should start doing it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So what do you think? Because you've been in so many industries, doing so many different businesses that like you were explaining us this curve of adoption of the new tech and so on, so on, so on. What do you think will be the next wave about AI? Because I feel that we are just at the beginning of the adoption of agents. I
Hmm.
feel that some of the agents they are still not yet like fully developed in that sense that they still make a lot of mistakes. This is also something that needs to be taken into the consideration. But where do you like from the very inside you see the next wave for AI?
There's a very clear definition of performance now. Is where you are heading very soon. It's AGI, which is general intelligence, which means that one robot will be intelligent in all of the domains that a human will be capable of even understanding. He will be the best of all of the domains.
Mm,
So this AGI is expected to happen, and even some experts claim that it happened since it can operate a computer.
okay.
But being human is not only operating a computer, sometimes it means to understand the distance to your door and not falling on the street and stuff like this, which from some other perspectives are not understood by AI. And some people are
Yes.
calling the present AI an entity that is very, even more stupid than my cat, they say, because it doesn't appreciate distances and lacks common sense. It does mistakes, as you said. That's also trainable, of course. If you don't use the right model, you get wrong answers, and then you have to learn what's the best model for the job. So this AGI is expected to be happening very soon. That will
Mm-hmm.
be a massive progress we don't have now. When we'll have it, we'll be all benefiting equally, hopefully.
Mm,
And then there's a super intelligence that is built with the help of an AGI. Like, already the agents and the LLMs are self-improving. They're getting an answer, they are analyzing, they are improving. This is how they are evolving. Even the guys from the labs are not very certain how it works. Starting from
mm-hmm.
what I've told you with the tokens, that was clear, but then it's still not clear how it develops its own perspectives, how sometimes seems to be aware that is being tested. So yeah, it's very difficult even for them to explain how it actually works.
Yeah.
And that makes sense when going to a super intelligence, then we will have some limits as human beings when we want to understand. And for most of the people, it's very difficult to uh, accept that there's an intelligence higher than the human intelligence that's available today on this planet.
Yeah.
So that super intelligence will be impossible for us to understand. But that's actually a direction where you cannot act on today because
Mm-hmm.
very few specific labs are able to do this. But this is all the non-hype uh, effects that you see because this technology was already spending more money than the entire projects of humanity ever done before.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
all of those money are there put for the bet That one will be the first to get the super intelligence. There's actually a book, Super Intelligence, which says the first one to reach that will be able to actually do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating, but it is a little bit scary also if you think about it in the long term. Um, yeah, let's see. I think that we cannot like see what's coming like very precise, that we see the direction, we can estimate this direction,
Mhm.
and we can have like some of the predictions. However, there is like a little bit of question mark somewhere, because we still cannot explain some parts of it and some parts of it development. Yeah, very, very well said. So I guess that, Razvan, if I would like to invite people to start learning about AI and to move forward to establish first agents, I could easily send them to you. So tell us, please, where we can find you, where people can find you, and
So
how to reach you.
So my name will be visible when the recording it's Răzvan Vâlceanu and you can get me on LinkedIn. If you put that in Google, I'm not sure about all the chatbots, but that's also a result to my site. And unlearning.ro, it's my website where it's all my contacts and everything, and it's actually described the adoption process that we are currently running.
Amazing. I think we can also pass your link so it will be easier for people to reach you with one click. Razvan, thank you so much for finding your time and being here with me and with us. I feel that we just get the first lesson about AI. Very great lesson, something that it's a great start to move on further. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Dorota, and good luck with your show. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.